Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This is from Alan Renshaw. Hey, Al. Dave Bautista recently posted cryptic messages on social media, essentially saying goodbye to Drax, and that this is the end of the journey that changed his life. Could he have just revealed that Drax is going to die in Guardians 3?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Alan. And yeah, listen, Drax the Destroyer is a wonderful character in the MCU. I personally feel they've misused the character a little bit. I mean, a character that is genetically made to destroy Thanos single-handedly, they've kind of turned him into a little bit of a punchline and a bit of a joke, who's just kind of a big, kind of strong guy, but doesn't really do much. But listen, he has been elevated in crazy ways by Dave Bautista, who just, who's not the greatest thespian in the world. And he's the first one to say that. But, working with James Gunn, who really understood how to hide whatever weaknesses he had as a performer, accentuate the strengths that he brings to the thing, and a very natural sense of comedic timing that he has, that I think he probably picked up in his WWE days. And of course, Dave Bautista, since being cast in Guardians of the Galaxy, he's just gotten better and better and better as an actor. He really has. Now, of course, Dave Bautista's future in Disney has been somewhat questioned ever since Disney fired James Gunn a number of years ago, where after that happened, Dave Bautista was not hiding anything. He was like, basically, F Disney, screw these guys. Blah. I mean, it was scorched earth kind of stuff. Now, of course, a little bit later, James Gunn came back. They're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's all happening. But now it sounds like this is it for Dave Bautista as Drax, when he said the following on social media. He wrote this: I haven't found the words yet, talking about the wrap of filming on Guardians 3. I haven't found the words yet. It ended so suddenly, and I was on to my next film before I could process it all. The end of a journey that changed my life. Hashtag Guardians of the Galaxy, hashtag Volume 3, hashtag Goodbye Drax, that's the big one. Hashtag Dream Chaser, hashtag Dream Machine. All right, so the question that Alan brings up is, did he just tell us that Drax dies in the movie? The answer to that question is no. All he's telling us is that he's done as Drax. There are still several things that are on the table. Number one, yeah, one of the options is Drax could die. Sure. Number two, Drax doesn't die and we just don't see Drax again. Number three, Drax doesn't die and somebody else comes in to play Drax. I mean, that's not something that Marvel does regularly, but it is something that Marvel has done. Hello, War Machine, right? They have done that before. They could do it again. So I think that Dave Bautista coming out and saying goodbye Drax does not definitively tell us anything about the fate of the character in the movie. So there's that. But the other thing to keep in mind is this too. James Gunn has said before that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is the last time you're going to see this Guardians of the Galaxy together. Now, that could mean that Peter Quill is still part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's a whole different team. It could mean that Rocket and Groot are still in Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's a whole different team. But regardless, we knew going into this, a number of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters are not going to be there moving forward in some ways. So, I mean, it's not surprising with all the drama that happened before, and then now with the wrapping of Guardians 3, and apparently James Gunn is not coming back to do a Guardians 4, it's not surprising at all to hear Dave Bautista say, this is it. And if it is it, you know what? He was in Guardians 1, he was in Guardians 2, he was in Infinity War. Briefly, he's in Endgame. He's got Guardians 3. I mean, he's kind of done his tour of duty here. I know, Rob, you hear about these comments from Dave Bautista about ending it off as Drax. Do you believe that this is done now? Do you believe that means he's going to die? And what is ultimately Dave Bautista's legacy playing in the MCU?
I believe it's done because even James Gunn himself said this iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy is done. And if he's leaving, I can completely see that. And I think that, Dave Bautista is a guy that James Gunn cast him, and this is their relationship. This is their working together. And I think if James Gunn is truly leaving the franchise, it doesn't mean, I don't think Drax is necessarily dying. I think that it's the end of an era. And I think that's okay. I kind of like this world. I don't like Netflix shows when there's only 3 seasons and I like the show, but I do like trilogies. I've always liked it when a filmmaker gets to make 3 movies and be done. It seems to me whenever there's a 4th or a 5th, sometimes there's a law of diminishing returns. I mean, not with, I liked Creed. That's obviously down the road. I like the Bond franchise. But having James Gunn bring his singular vision to these 3 movies, and specifically the way he wrote and directed Bautista as Drax.
Yeah.
That I couldn't believe some of the humor, went over his head or whatever. They did such a good job. And, leave when you're at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Get out.
Get out
You've
while the getting's good.
Yeah. You've left the world an indelible character. Everyone likes Drax.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, a couple of our channel members have been chiming in and saying this. Isaiah Ruiz is saying, Drax TV show? So I don't know if they're doing that. Stephen DeLint Routers, one of our director level members, says, maybe Drax will learn to stand perfectly still, and that's why we won't see him anymore. And then one of our other director member levels, McKeel, writes, Bautista said he was done as Drax a year ago. Well, again, he went like full scorched earth on Disney a while ago. Chris, you're hearing these words. What are your thoughts? Is this the end? I mean, obviously it looks like it's the end for Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Is it the end for Drax? And ultimately, how will we all look back on Dave Bautista's run in the MCU?
Well, as Robert pointed out in the chat here too, Bautista obviously patched things up with Disney. They started doing those streaming commercials together.
Right.
That's right. He does the Disney Plus commercials
Doesn't
now.
money fix a relationship? Doesn't that make things better?
Winning cures everything.
Exactly. And yeah, about a year ago, right? Bautista was saying, I'm just getting too old to take my shirt off.
Well, he's in his mid-50s now.
Yeah, and so...
Which F that guy for looking that good in his mid-50s.
Right? All these wrestlers. So we've known for a while that this was going to be his swan song. Now, do we know if that means they're killing off the character? That would have an immense emotional impact on everyone because everyone loves Drax, like y'all were saying. I don't know if that's something that James Gunn would do to his boy, though. I think this is more of it's really sad when you leave a role, right? It's like you've been at summer camp with all your friends and then you have to go back to the real world. So I think that's more of what he's talking about here is that he's not going to play this anymore. He's not going to be with all of his buddies, for months on end, just kicking it and having fun and playing this excellent role. So I think that's what this is more about, as opposed to, hey, I just gave you a major spoiler about this film.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It looks like, it's now done. The end of the journey for Dave Bautista as Drax in the MCU. How are you going to miss him? Do you remember him fondly as it? Did you never really care about him? How do you think they're going to treat the character? Do you think he's going to have some kind of heroic death? Do you think the character will still be left alive to keep their options open later? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, we want to take a second and thank the sponsor of this video, Harry's. Now take a look at me. When is the last time you saw me have this close and smooth of a shave? The answer is never, because I haven't been using the Harry's starter set until now. Using Harry's, I have gotten the most comfortable, smoothest shave that I've had in years, and that's no exaggeration. And right now, Harry's is giving their best offer to our viewers and listeners. First-time Harry's customers can redeem a starter set for just $3 at harrys.com/Campea. That includes a 5-blade cartridge, a weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. That's a $13 value, all for just $3. Seriously, guys, why pay so much more for other products when Harry's prioritizes simple, quality craftsmanship at a fair price? And it is time to move on from blades that barely hold up, because with Harry's, guys who've tried it say that their 8th shave is just as sharp as their first. And you're going to have a really hard time finding other competitors that have a satisfaction rating as high as Harry's. And they're still offering a no-risk trial. You don't like your shave? No problem. It's on them. New look, same incredible offer. There's really never been a better time to give Harry's a try. Just go to harrys.com/Campea today and get your starter set for just $3. That's harrys.com/Campea.